सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् परमानन्दमाधवम्। We'll start by having a look at the verses we did yesterday. I will just chant from the 43rd verse onwards. Okay. Kamatmana swargaparaha janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परुतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते। त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम atmavan. These were the three main verses that we had taken up, and over here of course it started with the Sankalp Vakya in the 39th verse, where Bhagavan said, okay, now I will talk to you about this Buddhi Yoga. And then further he tells what is the highlights of this, key points of this Buddhi Yoga, and then further he goes on to say why instead of karma you take up this Karma Yoga. And then of course it is not going to stop there. This Karma Yoga part of it will also, here also Bhagavan will give in certain, in the form of certain pointers Bhagavan will elaborate. And further, of course, in 3rd chapter, Bhagavan will further tell about it. And then how to prepare for it, how to go for it. In terms of that, again, Bhagavan tells in the later chapters which are to come. So, as we said, this particular topics is what Bhagavan is only laying the seeds for it now. And further, Bhagavan will elaborate on it in the other chapters which will come about. So, here, of course, when Bhagavan has spoken of how our approach to life, how our approach to any karma is, right? And from where does it stem? It stems from our buddhi. Our buddhi, how decisive our buddhi is, how our intellect, having gained the life experiences, having been educated, not just through Shastra, but through our life experiences, we learn our lessons, and from that, when we learn to make our choices, these choices are going to help us not just in this life, but also in future lives to move towards that one goal of life. For that, of course, if we make the right choices, then only we will become aware of the main purpose of life. right? Otherwise, what will happen? It will be a hit and miss kind of a thing, where we have come here, we have got the opportunity also, but every time we said, okay, not now, not now, maybe some other time. I'm not yet that age, I'm not that kind of person, right? So we will keep deluding ourselves through this moha only, right, that life offers us. So who is offering this moha? It is these people who weave through words. So that is why Bhagavan said, Vedavada Ratam, Yam Imam Pushpitam. What are they doing? They are going on praising that karma and its fruits, right? Which will give us so many gains here and the life after. And listening to all this, what happens? We get entrapped in this. So Bhagavan is telling us that if you are not careful, if you are not alert, then you will be trapped in that. And just so you know, those people who are trying to make sure that you are part of their club, right? What are they doing? They are also inadvertently, they are also, what are they doing? They are buying into this punarjanma. They are buying into this same pattern of life over and over again. Because once you have got a taste of that bhoga, of that aishwarya, you are not going to want to give it up. You will still want to have that same kind of status, etc. And yet, what will also happen inadvertently, as you choose this, you will also choose many more lifetimes to come. So therefore, Bhagavan is telling that, this vyavasayatmika buddhi, those who have, they are having this opportunity to make the right kind of varna. Whereas the ones who are touting or who are promoting that bhoga and aishwarya, they are the ones who are pulling you into that entrapped kind of a life, where the goals are tangible, the means to attain them are tangible, right? And therefore, whatever you are buying into is also limited in terms of this illusory world and its experiences. So, what shall I do then? So then Bhagavan is telling that, you choose right. What is it you choose? So you choose with the right intellect, with the right educated intellect, become aware of your choices, of that varna. Varna over there, is playing a big role. What is varna? Varna is making that choice. So whenever we are deciding on something, even though we might not be aware of it, we have the choice of choosing a higher kind of a outcome. And unless that outcome is not clear to us, what are we going to not do? We are going to choose that which is more familiar to us, right? That which is more familiar, that which is more tangible, that which we see that, okay, that what's in it factor for me is very clear, so then therefore I will go for this. Where I am not able to see clearly, where I don't know if people have tread that path before, I will say that, okay, maybe not now, I will take my chances some other time. So here, when we do that varna, right, so then what happens is, there is of course the path of Shreyas, which is that of a sacrifice kind of a path, and there is the path of prayers, which is those tangible outcomes, one might say, which is those that happiness that we think, or that joy that we think is within our reach. Those are the choices that we normally go for. But that path of the prayers is only going to give me benefits here and now, or what I might think as, that Swarga or the next world. But that again is not something which is going to last for long. That is a short term goal only, right? So if I am aiming for the highest, then for that Shreya, I should be able to make sacrifices. Though the path for that, it might seem difficult. Initially it is going to definitely be difficult, but as we walk, that path will also become clear, and more we will see that the benefits of that path are much more, what one might say, much more within our grasp, within our perspective of earning that higher path, and also that which we'll see very what you would say, very sattvic kind of results which will be visible in our life. Why? Because that sattva itself will bring us clarity. So therefore this karma yoga, Bhagavan is saying, you make it your choice. Don't go for that karma. So he is telling that karma is definitely not what we are speaking of here in Bhagavad Gita. What we are speaking of here in the Bhagavad Gita is karma yoga. So Arjuna, don't be baffled. Just stick to this karma yoga. I am telling you that what is going to be the outcome of it is, once you choose to do karma yoga, you will gain that vairagya out of doing karma which is not driven by raga and dvesha, and that alone will ensure to you that there is chitta shuddhi, and that alone will make sure that jnana is available to you, and that will lead to your ultimate moksha. So that Bhagavan is saying over here, right? And then of course one might think that if I have to choose this, but I am not aware of it, how should I go about? Who will take care of me? So here of course when Bhagavan says bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam taya paruta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. This is in the 44th verse. Bhagavan says that for those who are not able to have that kind of a buddhi, what is the result for them? They will never be able to abide in that truth. Even if they come across that truth, even if that path comes forth in front of them, they will not be able to go towards that itself. Why? Because that buddhi is like that. That buddhi is such that it will not even see that vision clearly. For that person, it is very much that, okay, what's in it for me? If this shastra is not going to give me anything which is going to result in some kind of bhoga, or some kind of bhoga as in joys that I want to have with my hands, right? Or that kind of lordship, or that kind of aishwarya as in that kind of control over people, etc. If I am not able to have here, then it is not worth it for me, is the attitude of these people who are not vyavasayatmika, right? So here again, if we look at the lives of people like, yesterday also we spoke of Taponji Maharaj, how he was able to make the right kind of choices, and he never felt that anyone who has come into his life has come without any kind of purpose. So even if people came and they offered him things, then too, he knew when to say no, and where to pull them in, and where to, even when the Maharaj of Taarini came to him, he said, fine, and told him that I want to build an ashram for you, etc. He said, that is not required, but I know what I can give you, and that he gave to him, right? So here too, sometimes what happens is Bhagavan himself will come to us, and through his Maya itself, he will come in the form of someone or the other, and he might ask us, what is it that you want? And inadvertently what will happen? the first choice will come. Something or the other will come. And that might not be Bhagavan itself. Right? And it will happen to most of us, it will happen that way. So many times it happens, right? When, when we ask for something, we'll ask something other than Bhagavan itself. Right? So what is that telling us? That is telling us that our varna is not clear. That choice of choosing Bhagavan as the one and only, that is not yet with conviction. So that till it happens, Bhagavan also entertains us. He says, okay, you want this? Fine. No need to feel, okay, one need not feel guilty that, oh, so I should not ask anything from Bhagavan. I should just keep quiet. That is the better way. No, that's fine. That's your own relationship that you are building with Bhagavan, right? And that relationship is something that we should treasure, something that, we should definitely strengthen. Because that is the one support which is always available to us, which we do not really look at, right? But Bhagavan is always there. So, if we are asked also of any choice, what should we do? It's okay to go ahead and ask whatever it is that we have come. But after that, we should have that gratitude to Bhagavan. After that, we should be able to know that we had the choice but didn't make the choice. So, what should we work on? We should work on that varna, that choice that we are making. And to give an example, when Prahlad ji was asked, by Bhagavan, what is it that I can give you? Then Prahlad ji told him that, make me desire free, so that I can focus only on you and there is no distraction. If only we can do that. So, with that we'll go on to, what Bhagavan of course is telling here is that, we should have that presence of mind to know what we are asking for, to be aware of our choices and make that right choice. Then of course, when we hear Bhagavan is of course telling us what is this Karma Yoga and why this Karma Yoga is the right path for us. For us, as in here in terms of Arjuna, where he is confused between his dharma, whether by fighting he is going to it is going to lead to adharma, or whether the outcome is going to be that of the nature of dharma itself, or whether he should take to sannyas and just leave. Why should he? Anyway Bhagavan wants what? Later he will ask like this only to Bhagavan. He will say, oh Bhagavan, you are telling me that I get Chitta Shuddhi, and from Chitta Shuddhi basically by Vairagya I am going to get Chitta Shuddhi, and from that Chitta Shuddhi I am going to go towards that Jnana Marga, right? So instead, why can't I just go to that sannyas? That is what he will ask also later. So then Bhagavan will also tell him, why not? Why should he stick to being on his path? So here Bhagavan is, he's telling us what are the preparations that will be helpful to take to this path of Karma Yoga. And that is what he told in this 45th verse. We had just taken a brief look at it. So here he says, Bhagavan tells that, if you see what is this samsara, and what is it that the Vedas are speaking of. It is when Vedas are starting, they are talking of what? They are talking of this samsara only, which is formed of what? Which is formed of this three gunas. So here he says Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. So here, of course, as we said, what are the three gunas? There is the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And as we know, the gross world is formed of the combination of the tamasic aspect of the Pancha Mahabhutas. And then of course the Rajasic one, Rajasic aspect leads to the Karmendriyas. The Sattvic aspect goes to the organs of perception, that is the Jnanendriyas, the Mana, Buddhi. So all the three, right, are inadvertently, all the three are involved in this samsara. But that which Bhagwan wants Arjuna to pursue and make his main goal is that which is beyond these three gunas. So what he is telling is that Brahman or that Atma or that Paramatma, who is he? He is that which is beyond these three gunas. And you make that Brahman your goal, Arjuna. Don't get lost in this world of three gunas, this world which seems to be very tangible, this which seems to be giving you that bhoga and aishwarya. Don't get lost in that. Don't make that your goal. Who is making that the goal? The ones who are getting getting involved in any kind of karma. They are making this world as the path, or it might be as was told in the earlier verse also. Swarga is the one, Swarga Paraha, right? Don't make Swarga as your goal, right? Don't make Bhoga Aishwarya as your goal. That is only a means. That is not the ultimate goal. Make that which is beyond the three gunas your ultimate goal. And keep that in mind at all times and move forward. So here, if we have to see, there is the story. If we see in the Ramayana, there is the story, Valmiki Ramayana also is told, of one king Pratapa Bhanu. So this Pratapa Bhanu, once he was fighting and he somewhere got drifted apart from his army, etc. And he came upon a cave, one hermitage actually, where there was this sadhu staying. And it turns out that the same sadhu was once upon a time the enemy of this, or the competitor of this King Pratapa Bhanu. And but though now he seemed to be very different. He was living alone in this ashram, and he was very in his entire stance, in his acharana, etc. He was really a very calming kind of a presence, and this king really adored him. And as he stayed, even the sadhu liked Pratap Bhanu, and he asked him, what is it that you want? What is it that you are yearning for? So Pratap Bhanu tells the hermit that I want a very, in my next life, I would like to have a very long kind of a life, a dirghayu life. I would like to have also great prowess over all kingdoms. I should have the best of weaponry, the best of everything. I should be able to conquer most of lands and enjoy the worldly pleasures to the maximum. And that's when he says, this is what he expresses of his desires for himself. And later it turns out, and of course, the sadhu says, okay, fine, now he has expressed his, his desire, so he says, okay, tathastu. And it turns out that, because of something that happened, that there is some clash with some other rishis, and this king, Pratap Bhanu, gets cursed. And he is born as Ravana in the next life. Okay. And, one might think, oh, he was cursed because of some company of some sadhu and all. So, no, it was not that. Just to make his desire fulfilled, right? What had he chosen? He had completely clearly expressed what he wanted. And that is what he got also in that next life. So, point to say over here is that, at all times we have a choice. We have that varna. Now, what we are choosing, that we should be careful of, So, as we said, there is the desire. That desire will lead to attraction. That attraction will lead to distraction. That distraction will lead to destruction. Destruction of what? Destruction as in, because of the delusion, it is going to lead to, the what we would say, the ignorance, or rather the veiling of our intelligence. Of that, the veiling of that Vyavasayatmika Buddhi is happening within us only. Who is creating the obstacles? We are only creating that obstacle for ourselves. Who has the power to keep it at bay? We have the choice. If we are making Bhagwan as our ashraya, then it will come about. And therefore here Bhagwan is talking to us about this Karma Yoga or this Buddhi Yoga, where he is saying that you bring me into the equation. So you do that same work, whatever you are doing, you do that same work only, you just change the intent. Instead of, working for yourself, instead of doing that karma through selfish desires for the fulfillment of certain expectations that you have, you just offer it unto me and you watch how things will change. So therefore here, in the first one he says, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. So here when he is saying that, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, what is he telling? That yes, fine, whatever you are going to get in this world of Trigunas is always going to be that which is limited. So if you want to have that which is beyond all limitations, then what? Make the right choice. Okay, so that Varna Shuddhi has to happen. That Varna Shuddhi is up to us, and that Varna Shuddhi we should bring about for ourselves. Then in the second one, second instruction, what he is telling, Nirdvandvo Bhava. So Nirdvandvo Bhava, we know that, this world is, again, whatever experiences we go through, it is going to have these pairs of opposites. And this again, is beyond our control. We know that there are these two choices. I mean, there are these two outcomes. One is favorable, one is non-favorable. And when we are aware, this is again told, even in Ramayana again, this is very clearly also told, even in Tulsi Ramayana it is told, right? Where he says that, if we are aware of the choice of, or rather these two outcomes, what happens? Once we are familiar, we will know that of course there is the conducive choice, but we also know the other side of the coin is that non-conducive. So if one is going to come, the other is going to follow also. So it is never going to be that, I choose one and that only comes to me. No, there is no such partiality at all. For everyone it is the same route, right? So fine, one might say that, okay, heat or cold, I can bear it all, fine. The highest of temperatures happened here this summer, right? Even now is going on. But that is something very simple and easy to manage with all the technology, etc. Of course, when what will happen when the power goes, that's a different game together, right? But if we are subjected to honor and dishonor, then our capability to handle that, our titiksha comes into greater testing. So that mana and apamana is something totally different. At mind level, when we have to face these dvandvas, then we have to be much more better equipped. So therefore here Bhagavan is saying Nirdvandvo Bhava. Not that you choose one instead of the other. Become such that you are able to go beyond these two pairs of opposites. That is a better choice. Yeah. So here he says that, how then you might ask, okay, fine. It is okay to say that, you go beyond the two, but how do I do this? Because, as you said, day in and day out I am swaying between the two. So here of course further also Bhagavan will tell how to go about this, especially when we see even Nitya Sattvastha also Bhagavan tells in chapter 16, 17, 18. Bhagavan will more elaborate on these. But what is seen from the lives of the Mahatmas is that, if we develop a titiksha, right? That forbearance if we have, then we can better handle these pairs of opposites. But again, as we are doing it, there is then the chance of, you might say that, oh, then should I just become a very rukha sukha, very immune kind of person, like a robo? I don't, if something good also comes to me, I'll say, okay, theek hai. Or if something, which is kadwa also comes in, okay, fine. Then how will I enjoy life, right? So, here of course, the better choice is that, one is that we, develop that devotion, and from that devotion we develop that forbearance also. Okay, fine. If Bhagwan has sent it, it is for my good only. So let me just take it with that prasada buddhi. Fine. Theek hai. But to make life more entertaining, it is better to have also a sense of humor and to have a laugh. Not just at the expense of other people, but at our own expense also. It's like there's this story of Socrates where his wife is not very predictable. So and she's not always in favor of the way he behaves. So one day when he's there with his friends and she's calling out to him and he's not answering, she just comes with a bucket full of water and dumps it on him. So, so he says, when you are in the middle of the storm, so you should expect showers like that, right? So yes, so if we are able to have that sense of humor, like Gurudev says, keep smiling. It seems like a very easy kind of advice, to just say that, oh, keep smiling. Gurudev has told us to keep smiling. But what he is saying is, no matter what the kind of experience that you might have, maintain that smile. There is nothing in this world which is worth weeping over. And that is what is the crux of this Bhagavad Gita also, where Bhagwan is saying what? Ma shucha. So actually what he is saying is just keep smiling, right? So if we are able to, have that ability to laugh at ourselves and also drop or rather let go of whatever the world is saying, then we are able to do this. So nirdvandvo bhava. And the next one which Bhagwan says is nitya sattvastha. That nitya sattvastha means what? Forever you should be able to abide in sattva. So now how will I do that? So first of course we have to be able to go towards that nature of being in sattva. And then you will say that, oh, then I will have to become a sadhu, then I will have to leave all the world, etc. So it doesn't mean that. What it means is that, of course the three gunas are always there. How I initiate my actions, what is it that my intent is, that decides the final outcome. Okay, so when we are saying, right, that there is sattva, sattva is more prominent or sattva is more dominant, and what we are saying is that there is much more clarity in how we are operating. Okay, our thinking is much more clear, our grasp of things is much more clear, and this is required for everyone. It is not that, one who is very scholarly alone will become sattvic. No, any person, any leader, etc., even if they have to have the implementation part of it in progress, then too it has to stem from sattva alone. And this we could see even, again, if we take the examples of great leaders, such as, even say, if we take the example of even APJ Abdul Kalam ji, or, I don't want to take the names of any politicians right now, but yeah, if we have to take up, here was someone who was learned, who was, very much clear on the decisions he made, and he stuck to those decisions, right? So when we are making those decisions, or when we are making those educated decisions, what is it? The clarity stems from sattva. Okay, the implementation part of it. So the ideation part of it will start from sattva. The implementation of those ideas will come from rajoguna. Okay, so it is not going to be that each one is in isolation. So that for me to implement it, right, that rajoguna has to come. So too, if I need to have rest, then that tamoguna has to be there, right? So even if I am taking a 4-hour sleep a day, right, that tamoguna is essential, because that is going to rejuvenate me. That is going to drop all those worries that I have been holding and give me a fresh outlook for the next day. So all three are essential, but from where my initial thinking is stemming, that should be driven by sattva guna. Okay, then I will be nitya sattvastha to operate in the world. So for that also here, what Bhagavan is saying, that if I just say that if I just stick to rajoguna, what is going to happen? Then there is no clarity in thought, and then there is going to be a very fast burnout for me. So therefore, start from sattva guna. If I am even for tamoguna, if I am starting with sattva and then going towards that tamoguna, right, then I will know that I have to wake up at so and so time. I have to stick to my routine because I have a planned schedule. So in this way we have to balance it out. And just to give examples, right? So if we see in Ramayana again, Bharat, who's brother of Ramji, how did he operate in Ayodhya? It was, of course, his devotion was fully with Ramji, and whatever administration he had to do, whatever he had to do as a representative of Ramji, he took up that throne, but keeping the padukas of Ramji on the throne, he said that I will operate and I will do whatever is needful. Even for that, he had taken complete guidelines from Ramji. How should I go about my duties? Now that you have assigned this role to me, please give me clarity on that. So when he does that, again, to implement that as a Kshatriya, he needs that Rajoguna. But that Rajoguna was guided by Sattva. And that's how he was able to do a very fair kind of administration as a king of Ayodhya, as a proxy king of Ayodhya, we might say. And so too, if we look at Hanumanji and the episode where, he is crossing the ocean and he meets, the Mainaka Parvata. And Mainaka Parvata, he says that, I am part of your family, and I'm offering you my own abode here in this mountains. You can rest before you take that higher leap. Why don't you? It's going to be a very tiring journey. So here, again, Hanumanji knew when to accept that tamoguna, when to reject it, or rather say no to it, and when to say that not now, maybe later, okay, in a nice way. So the way he answered, that was also sattva making him answer to that tamoguna. He knew perfectly well how to control that tamas, not to give in to it. And it would have been very easy for him to say that, okay, oh yeah, sure, I am tired, maybe I should just go ahead and rest, as you're telling me. But no, what he says over there is that, no, I have taken Ramji's work, until that task is there with me, I have to go ahead. There is no time now to rest. So here, of course, here itself in Mahabharata also, Arjuna was attributed that name of Gudakesha as one who knew even in the night to fight at the slightest of sound. Why? Because he was alert and in control of his tamas. As in, at night he would not give in to sleep, he would be doubly alert to fight whatever kind of attacks there might be it in the forest, be it in the battlefield also. So here of course Bhagavan has told him that you be nitya sattvastha. So that doesn't mean that he will be subdued and say that, oh, I am ahimsavadi, so I will not pick up my weapons and I will just sit here. No, that is not what he is saying. What Bhagavan is telling him is operate out of sattva and then take whatever it is that the course of action is required, be it that of rajas or be it that of tamas. Accordingly you decide and go ahead. Then in the next one he says niryogakshema. So niryogakshema, yoga is that which is attaining that which I don't have, attainment of that which whatever I aspire to have and I don't have, aspiring for that or working towards that is yoga. And kshema over there is in terms of maintaining that which I have already acquired. Okay, so this yoga and kshema, we go through our entire life doing that only. It's kind of, you will say, oh, that's the story of my life, right? So, but this yoga kshema, Bhagavan is telling that you drop it. You don't have to pursue it. Niryoga kshema bhava Arjuna. So how do I do that? So one, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that, by transcending these two, what happens? You will, what was told earlier, in the earlier verse it was saying, the one who is attached to this bhoga ishwarya. So for that person, what is this? Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. There are a lot of activities. Because why? Because all the time I have to fulfill some new needs. All the time I have to maintain my old needs. Right? So here what Bhagavan is telling is, you drop this. This your yoga and kshema, you drop it. Drop it to whom? Drop it to me. You leave it to me. You surrender it to me and you watch how it will come about of its own accord. And again, here, we might have a lot of hesitation to do this. Even if we are going on some big tour, right? Big tour as in, we might be just going for a yatra. What will we do? We'll pack up lots of stuff. But then we will understand that, oh, anyway there are shops and it is available, right? And by carrying so much, what are we doing? We are only increasing our own burden. And if we were to be like the Mahatmas such as Taponji Maharaj, right? As is told, if you have read Himgiri Vihar, right, or which is called as Wandering in the Himalayas. It's a wonderful book. If you ever get the chance to read it, do read. So in that, he tells of one episode when he's traveling and he comes upon a set of thieves. And he doesn't, of course, have anything on him. In fact, the thieves itself feel bad for him and they say that, oh, we have just got some alus and we are going to make something of that. Please sit, Mahatma ji, we'll give you some food. So it just happens that, the ones who are robbing others, they come to take care of him. So too in other places also it happens where, he is staying with a poor family and he sees that, they are going out of their way to take care of him, and not just that, other people also come to meet him. So he decides that, okay, it looks like I'm going to become a burden on these people, so I should leave from here. And that very thought, when it comes, suddenly from nowhere a noble person comes and he says that, I have arranged for your stay in this particular place, and whoever wants to also come and meet you, etc., their needs, etc., will also be taken care of in this way. So point is that, one who has surrendered, one who has that ashraya buddhi in Bhagwan, for them Bhagwan will make sure that everything is taken care of. Not that for us Bhagwan is not taking care, but one is we are never acknowledging that. We are not even ourselves thinking that this that has come to us is thanks to Bhagwan. So that we are not doing. Why? Because we are so enraptured by our own desires, our own gains and losses, etc. We forget that Bhagwan is playing a role in it. And each step of the way, we are making that choice. So if we had to instead just change this thought and just say that this work or this that I am going to do today, or this that has come to me today, this is my offering to Bhagwan, or this which has, Bhagwan has given to me, I accept it as prasad, and I know that he means well, even though it doesn't seem to be what I had thought would be the outcome, but it is what Bhagwan has sent to me, means it is for my own good. So I just accept it and I move on where I have control. Where I don't have control, I need not do anything. Right? So where is it that I don't have control? I don't have control on the result of the action. I do have control on that particular action when I am performing that duty. So there I should be able to give my best. So there in my thought, if I am able to make that sankalpa and say that, okay Bhagwan, this is for you, this is my day's duties, and may I do it to the best of my ability. So here in Karma Yoga, it is not that I have to do a whole lot of things, it is not that I have to sit and actually perform a puja, etc. No. I have to think of this world itself as that manifestation of Bhagwan. It is Bhagwan's avatar. I am, in my limited thinking, I am thinking that, oh, Bhagwan has to have one particular form, etc. and that I have to worship. So instead now I have to just expand my vision of Bhagwan and think of this entire cosmos as this Lord alone. And to that cosmos, or whatever I am doing in it, there I have to say that, okay, this is my offering. Even though it is small, or even though it means something, it has some significance in my life, but it is also Bhagwan who is bringing it about as a samashti also. It might be, my role might be just a minuscule one, but yes, that minuscule one adds up to that totality. So if I am able to bring that thinking into my mind and then expand the vision of my duty as being one bit towards the totality, then I will also gain that kind of expansion in accepting what is, the outcome. That saying that, this that has come, this is Bhagwan's choice for me. This is what Bhagwan says is right for me right now in the circumstances that I have, and he knows the overall picture. So I might have expectations, but what should I do? I say that, okay, right now I will not look at those expectations, I will go on with it. Right? So therefore here what is told to Arjuna? Niryogakshema bhava Arjuna. Right? So what I have to then do is have that ashraya buddhi and say that, okay, Bhagwan, whatever is there, I know you will fulfill it, because this entire cosmos is you only. And neither are you going to lose anything, nor are you going to gain anything. So therefore, whatever is coming to me is that which is rightfully given to me. So I will accept that. And then the next one, he says Atmavan. So Atmavan, you might think that, okay, does it mean that being established in the self? That is what actually it is, meaning as per the words. Right? In Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, he says that, here this Atmavan, you have to take it to mean apramattaha. Apramattaha as in, is what means as inadvertence. Now you will think, what is inadvertence? So one is here, it is meaning that, neither should you resort, so whatever is coming to you, right? Neither should you have any kind of elation or any kind of negligence towards it, nor should you feel completely down in the doldrums, right? Where you say that, oh, this is something which I was not expecting, this is not for me, etc., etc. So when you say apramattaha, what Bhagavan is trying to say is that don't give it over attention, nor should you say that I feel totally neglected by. So where mother, that word which is there, mother or mother, right? So that mother, it can mean pramada. So pramada is like, where there is over excitement. And mother is also meaning, which is glepana. Glepana is what? Glepana is meaning that, one goes completely into depression. So here this is what Bhagavan is telling Arjuna is apramatta bhava. Or, become that Atmavan. Atmavan is who? Atmavan is that which is not changing at all. It is not tainted by anything. One who is abiding in that self knows that he is fulfilled completely. So there is no elation on the gain of something, nor is there any kind of depression by the loss of something. Right? So here when he says apramattaha, so what Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, or what he is telling us, is don't at all entertain the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Just be equanimous is what he is saying when he says be Atmavan. Okay. So 5 instructions, 5 points over there, right? One is, first one is what? First one is saying Nistragunyo Bhava, right? So that what Bhagavan is telling over there is set me as your goal, right? That Brahman is none other than Bhagavan alone, right? So he says you set me as your goal. Don't think of any other tangible goals. I am your goal. Nitya Sattvastaha. So now having set your goal, then abide in that Sattva. Abide in the Sattva as in operate from Sattva. Whatever you do, you do something Rajasic, do it from Sattva. If you are going towards Tamoguna, do it again from Sattva only. Right? Or even when you are saying doing anything Sattvic also, do it from Sattva only. Okay? So that is Nitya Sattvastaha. Then in Niryogakshema, what is he saying? I will take care of your needs. So don't worry. Basically what he is saying, don't worry, you do your duty and you leave the rest to me. That is what he is saying over there. And then 5th one he is saying Atmavan. Atmavan he is telling be apramatta. That is what Shankaracharya ji has interpreted as. And he is saying, don't sway between, the good and bad. What you have to do is, what you have to do is be equanimous in all situations. Just as when he told Nirdvandvo Bhava. Nirdvandvo Bhava means over there you learn to take the, pairs of opposites in your sway and operate in that manner. Be it mana, apmana, or heat and cold, whatever it is. Know the pairs of opposite, take them into account and then operate in that way. And then of course in the 46th verse, he says, Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. So here Bhagavan says that, to the one who has understood that ultimate happiness, to that person, these temporary joys of bhoga and aishwarya, though they might seem to be, tangible joys in this world, but actually what are they? They are actually of hardly any significance. They are actually of no significance actually. When you understand that, that the whole place is flooded, to what avail is, one pond or one well or one, lake? Nothing, no, because the whole place is flooded. So why will you go to a tap or a pump or a well? So just as those small sources of water are not going to be of any significance in the face of one whole flooded place, so too for the one who has realized that ultimate Brahman or that ultimate source of Ananda, he will no longer go to those Vedas. So again, what is Bhagavan telling? You will no longer go to do those small karmas for small petty gains that you want. Be it, in this life or be it hereafter, in terms of, the attraction of Swarga. Those gains will be, it will be like dirt, poo you will do, as compared to that Parama Ananda. So one who has understood this, one who has gained that Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, one who is operating through Karma Yoga, one who understands the importance of that Paramahananda, right? Of what? Of that Brahma, right? Of that Atma. Then you will no longer want to do these kind of karmas to gain temporary or tangible kind of outcome or happiness. You will then not even look at that book which is telling you about this. Now here what is Bhagavan telling? You will not actually look at that Shastra even. You will keep it aside. Why? Because you have gained the ultimate. Why now you will need to read anything? So again, here is that Nahi Nindya Nyaya. He is telling it, he's telling that, karma has no importance when Karma Yoga has shown you the way to that ultimate. So you follow that path of Karma Yoga is what Bhagavan is trying to advise Arjuna. So why study Vedanta if someone is asking you? Then study Vedanta to gain that higher vision of life. Okay. So Loganji, I don't know whether I was able to answer your question. It will still come about, more clarity will come as we are going with this chapter also, right? And Karma Yoga will also come in the next chapter. So basically, when we are saying that, we follow the path of Karma Yoga, we don't have to make extra effort. When we become aware of what is Karma Yoga, it will itself pave its way. Like what Gurudev says, start walking and the path gets clear. Exactly that Bhagavan is telling will happen. Because so far what we've been thinking is that, okay, whatever work comes to me, I'm doing it for my own upkeep, for the maintenance of my family, for my yoga kshema, etc. But here when suddenly now we are told that, okay, you also have this choice where you bring in this higher factor in your life, that of Bhagwan, right? And it could be any Ishta Devata of your choice, or if you know that is that totality, right? So when you bring that Lord into your life, slowly, you will yourself remember him in terms of, when it comes to difficulties, you will think of Bhagwan only. When it comes to good things that you are starting also, you will divinize it by, start having a puja, etc. Some things that you are doing, but you are not really putting any kind of thought to it, right? Now it will make more sense. This is, I think, the wonder of Bhagavad Gita is that, so many things that we have not otherwise concerned, Bhagwan just puts it into it kind of nails it into our head. Ki, if he is telling, even this Yame Mam Pushpitam, right? So many things, we think have so much appeal and we get attracted towards. And we never really think that, oh, really, do I need it? It's only, even if someone is trying to sell us minimalistic living, right? But that person is also weaving that, that thought or that idea, he's putting seed into our head through what? Through those words only. So that words are having so much of power to take away our decisiveness in thinking. Robbing our buddhi is what happens when we give in to this kind of mindless thinking, and then we just take or buy into that idea and we go along with it, right? But what Bhagwan is telling is, fine, just be alert and see where it is taking you. If you have fixed your goal, then maybe you will not really go for it. Or if you have fixed your goal and you know that this is in line with my goal, then sure, go ahead with it. So that is some kind of thought or reflection that we have to do. A churning has to happen for us, and that is what Bhagavad Gita is doing. I hope, for me it is slowly happening. I hope for all of us it is happening. If we are giving time for it, then definitely, we will see the results. Of course, it will take many more iterations also. But we will keep at it. Okay, so we'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hariom.